Hey everybody, good energy to you guys. So everything's like a magnet, right? Everything has its own vibrational frequency and resonance with it. The hat I wear, it has my aura, sweat, whatever. Just me mixed up in it. The glasses have this and that. This pen carries whatever I use it with, or where it sits, or doesn't get used. Everything has its own vibrational frequency, and a lot of it depends on how it's used, how frequently it's been used, and all these type of things. So when you do put foods, the foods you eat do matter, in my opinion. And when I was younger in Phoenix, I was working out and working all the time, and I was eating fast food all the time. And for a while, I felt great, but then slowly but surely, one day, I remember riding my bike to the gym, and my heart was just beating like crazy fast. Like, this is something I do all the time, every day. So it was unnatural. Like, usually, it's like a little bit of a elevated heartbeat, but this was like, like something's really going on. Like, I've been just running a marathon, or not maybe a marathon, but much longer than my usual heart rate from just this exercise that I'm used to doing. And that was the first indication. And shortly thereafter, a few months, there were things going on in my life, but I noticed that eating, large meals, meat for me in particular, and processed meals, definitely, made me feel more dense, just lowered my vibrational energy, made me feel like shit afterwards. Yeah, while eating it, it was good, but afterwards I would feel like shit. And then continually, doing that for years and years and years, I think really helped lead to my panic attacks. I used to have real bad panic attacks. I drove myself to the hospital before, thinking I might have a heart attack. And I think a lot of it does have to do with the foods I was eating, because all these foods, they can literally implant metals, they can imbue it with spiritual practices, which I've heard that they do. There's a lot of different things they can do, additives, things, preservatives, to put into the foods that in themselves, when we consume, they become a part of us. And being that we're an electromagnetic, vessel, a magnet essentially able to attract and repel and all these things, we're giving off those things inside of us, give off its own, they draw in things, they make things easier to come into us. So that's why I think it's easier for people to feel fear, for anger, rage, a lot of these lower vibrational energies when they eat, more dense food. But I think even more so, it has to do with the chemicals and the additives and the unnaturalness of the foods, and also the way the animals treated. A lot of these animals that you consume from the stores aren't treated very well. They're fearful. They're unhappy. They're super depressed and suicidal probably. I mean, who knows? I don't know if they can feel the desire to want to kill themselves, but if you look into their eyes, some of the eyes that I've seen of these cattle, they do not look well at all. And then they're killed and slaughtered, and it's all for money and fucking, just an abundance and greed for more than we need, and a lot of what's going on with the cows is, worse than what's going on with car pollution. So it's not just, it's just a layer of problems that we continue to feed. So, it's just, when you think about these things, like, your diet, they call it diet, but what you consume, it is very important, at least to me. And since not eating meat for like 3 months or so, I definitely feel lighter, not just my being, but more just my energy. It just feels lighter. I don't feel as thick, and I don't feel as bogged down in my emotions. I feel more expressive and transparent. And I just, in general, I feel better. I don't know what it is. It's always been something about me, even as a child. I remember looking at, a steak on the table and being like, I don't really need to eat. It goes back to the fact that an animal had to die unnecessarily when there's plenty of other food that didn't require something to die. That's the biggest thing for me, But then, that is the biggest thing. But also along with that is the fact that it makes me feel better, And then especially with the information I have on hemp, it just goes hand in hand with what I'm trying to do. So it works out for me. I honestly haven't been too much of a picky eater. I eat really basic. I eat the same thing all the time, and it doesn't really bother me all that much. I've been, you can also consume information. There's different ways of consumption, just besides just, eating. So anyways, I just want to share that with y'all. I love you guys. Have a good day. Bye.